Okay, so we're now live. This is a pairing session on the OSRA project on Wednesday, 13th of August. Today we have a story that we start. I hope we can finish major part of it today. So, you see the story, Craig?
Yep.
Okay, so now we need to create a model to store all of this information. The way I have done it earlier was to use Rails to generate the model and then fill up the migration with the attributes I need.
Okay, so do you put the attributes on the command line, or do you just do a blank migration and then add them in yourself?
No, usually a blank migration, especially
Okay.
if the number of attributes is huge, such as this case. So first I need to is it? I mean, what's it? I should check out. -3. So this is Orphan model. Okay. Oh, what is this? What changed here? I thought I changed this. I thought I changed this. No, this is wrong. Okay. So, okay, I mean, I'm a bit confused on Git. So, I mean, I need to go back to my develop branch as it was before, because I was doing some testing and I've added a couple of methods here. I want to go back to the state I was.
Okay.
So, wouldn't this work? Check out develop.
Yeah, it should do.
So this still tells me that this is. But if I go, you know, I always have this issue. So this is my develop.
Hang on. Can you just go back to your console?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you need to keep that modified file?
No, I don't. But
Well, just check it out. So if you do git checkout, app, admin, sponsor, yeah, and then git status.
Okay, that's cool. So git checkout branch name will not, if I have some modified files, it will not take them out.
I don't know. My Git skills aren't really strong, but normally it won't let me switch branches if I have modified files. So I'm not sure.
Okay. So anyway, I mean, I have now this is a state where it's matching the develop on my GitHub repo, so that's fine, I guess. So called Orphan model. So now generate model Orphan. Okay, so now it should have created a migration. So this is the new migration. Okay. So let me check. So name, father name.
Big copy and paste.
The syntax. I mean, I got this from. I had once created like a demo application, same idea, but on MongoDB. So the syntax is different. I think this is the model there. So here the model should be something like. Let me take this as an example.
Yeah, so you just need to precede all these with the type. So it's t dot string for name.
Yeah.
I would copy that with the space on and just go down and.
Father name is a string. This one, I'll just do the string
Yep.
ones for now.
Yep.
The date, I guess date is familiar. Oh, I don't have date here.
There's a date and a date time, isn't there?
Yeah. Date, yeah. Just let me check. This health status is it a string or drop down? So this is it's a string. Here's the bonus for now. Guardian ID is a number. I think this is like an integer ID.
Yep.
Yeah. Would that be okay even if the integer is not like it's a 10-digit ID number? That's fine for an integer. Or should I keep it?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, integers go up.
Okay. Okay, so this one I'll keep it for later. This is the province. So now I have, like you see this block here, whereas I have original address,
Yep.
and I have the same thing repeated for current address. So like current address has like 5 fields, and original address has 5 fields, same ones. Was thinking earlier to split this into an address model and then link those two addresses. Do you think should go this way?
My gut feel is you should always normalize your database as much as possible. So yeah, I would have an address model and link into it.
Okay, so maybe this is for the second pass. I will. This is a boolean. An integer. as well. Status. This is orphan status or okay, this is orphan status. I have to look into this later. This is different from the status we already have. Okay, so as a first pass, I just created all the integer and string fields.
I'm just going to paste into the group chat the different types of active record.
Oh, okay, sure. Data types, possible data types, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful.
So your booleans are just t.booleans?
Yeah. Is it? Boolean, why isn't it? This is Boolean as well. Okay. What is this? Okay. Create orphans. So let me run the migration. Okay, now for the specs. Okay. Or should I add the, or I'll write the specs first and then specs
Yeah, I
should
think so,
tell
yeah.
me that it should fail, for example, if a certain field is missing, and then I'll add that validation on the model itself to make the test pass.
Yeah, so we want the validate presence ofs all as tests, don't we? So
I mean, I want to add those, the validate presence, but
yeah, but what I'm
based on the results of the spec.
Yeah, so in the spec, what I'm saying is it says it should have a name, it should have a father name.
Okay. Yeah.
We need to add those to the specs.
Yes, but now if I show you how we are doing it for the, for example, the sponsor. So now sponsor has a limited number of attributes compared to orphan, for example.
Okay.
So here I'm doing, for each mandatory one, I'm setting up all the other fields and then leaving that mandatory attribute, and then that should fail. I'm asserting that it fails. In this case, I think that will be like an overkill to.
Well, what you can do is on your before each, you can set up a valid field,
a valid,
a valid record, and then for each of your tests, you
nullify the attribute I want to test for.
Yeah, make that nil and then test it.
Yeah. Okay. So. Oops. I had earlier a comment on one of my commits to change the. Actually, I can access it here. There is.
You don't even need to set the record as a valid field, do you? You just need to check that there's an error on that field.
What do you mean?
Well, when you check it's valid, you expect it not to be valid, and you expect it to have an error on the field that you're checking. So even though there's errors on all the others, it doesn't matter.
I see. Okay. Yes. So make it more strict to test or assert that that particular field is the one that's causing.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I was saying that earlier I got this message from Nikki, or a comment that he said maybe this syntax is better, where we let an object.
Yep.
And then with a subject, this is the first time I see this syntax. And he linked to a page where they say this is a better syntax. Are you familiar with this one, or?
No, not hugely. I do know that on CS169 they pointed us to a web page for making better specs.
Yeah.
But I've not been through it.
I think this is the page.
Okay.
Like yeah, but okay, I'll leave that to another story. Maybe we'll have a story dedicated to just improving the spec syntax in this project. So for now, okay. Do you want me to commit and push it to you so you can start with maybe some of the tests and we ping pong this way, or what do you prefer?
Whatever you're comfortable with. If you've got momentum, you can write the tests and I can watch and comment, or you can.
So I'll create creating the object, and maybe down the road, like we'll have so many tests, you can take some of those later. So do we do create or new here? Like create goes to the DB, right? Yeah. Okay.
So I would just have a line. Yeah, I'm not sure you need to set all these. What I would be inclined to do is say orphan equals orphan new.
Okay.
And then on a new line, I would say
Orphan name.
Orphan should not be valid, or it's now expect, isn't it? Expect orphan.
Yeah, no, but this is in the before. I did not start writing that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well, just
creating the object that I will nullify some of the attributes in the tests and see.
Well, you don't want it to be create because that actually creates the model. You're wanting it to be a new model because then you're going to check that it's valid.
Okay. So if it is not valid, it will not even go. I mean, yeah, I see. Okay. So how do I edit social place?
See, at the risk of being pedantic, I'm not sure you even need to set those fields. I think you just need to make orphan equals orphan.new.
Mm. And
then for each of your tests, you'll say orphan should not be valid and orphan should have one error on, and then whatever the field is.
oh, okay. So it should not be valid. It will have so many reasons not to be valid, but I will check for that particular reason in a specific case.
Yes. Yeah, and then that saves you having to put
I
all.
I see. Okay.
I mean, it may not make any difference because we're going to have to create at least one valid orphan, aren't we, and check that it is valid.
Yes, but maybe that will be the last
Test.
Yeah. Okay. So again, what is the syntax for this one?
So
it
it should
have a valid name.
do.
Yeah. So I say orphan
Dot should. Or expect orphan. It's changed, hasn't it? Expect orphan.
To
not. Is it? Not or not to.
to not be valid. So this is the to be valid. To be invalid. Sorry. So this will check that it is invalid.
I think the B is part of the invalid. Is it?
I'm looking at.
Just check your other.
Because I did this before. Be invalid is separate. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, can I have two expects in the same test? And both should be true. Like first I expect it to be invalid, then I expect the error message to be for that particular.
Yeah, expect orphan. Is it 2?
And then
I don't know whether this is still valid. This is old RSpec syntax, but have open brackets 1.
Number 1, okay.
Yep, and then after the close brackets, dot error underscore on. Yep, and open brackets.
Name.
And then the symbol of the model. Yep.
Okay.
It may be worth running that and see what error we get.
Orphan should be uninitialized constant orphan. Why is that?
Is orphan describe orphan is a typo? Is it? Oh, your R and P are transposed.
Oh, okay. What is my migration? I misspelled it. Okay, so there's my DB. Oh yeah, OPR. Oh man.
So don't change that just yet, and go to rake DB rollback.
Now change it.
Yeah.
ORPHNs. Okay. I'll change migration name as well. Okay. For test, for DB test, do I need to roll back as well? Because I did test prepare.
No, I think if you do DB migrate and then DB test prepare, it should.
Okay.
But we may have controllers and models that are.
Yeah. Uninitialized constant create orphans. So this is, where would this be? Oh, this is in the admin, I think.
Yeah, class create orphans. Is that in? So line 1 of your migration, you've got create orphans. Save that and run that.
Okay. So now just prepare.
Nice. Right, now we need to go into the spec because I think the spec's wrong.
The file name of the spec itself.
Describe. And you describe on line 3. And I'm not sure whether it'll cause any problems, but your model and controller are probably wrong as well.
So Shift F6. Orphan. Oh, oh man. So it create, RubyMine created the migration for me called rename orphan to orphan. Or I do not want this. So I change this. This is orphan, this is fine. This is the specs. Orphan, okay.
While we're just thinking about everything, can you check the controller as well? You can do.
Did not create anything.
Oh, okay. Well, just go back to your migrations and delete that last one. No. Yeah.
Okay.
And then see what our spec does for us.
Okay, it says undefined.
Okay, let's go back to, I think that's because it's not a class variable in your before. And then, yeah, they then expect orphans, they need to be. I don't know, but I think.
Yeah, I did this, yeah, I think so. Okay. Invalid return true, got false. Okay, so it's failing on the first
test.
Yeah.
That's right, because we don't have any
presence validation.
Yeah, no, if you just do a validate presence of name.
Is this the syntax?
Name will probably have it's a symbol, so it needs, the colon needs to be at the start of name, not at the end.
Okay.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Often environment to be invalid. Presence true. Invalid return. So it's not validated. No, okay. So this is.
Let's just have a look at our spec file again.
This is new. So it's saying that it is valid. Right? Return true.
Have you saved? So, have you saved the
Yeah,
model?
everything is. So this is before each. Okay, and this is register. Similar to title here. Validates. Confusing. Yeah,
Yay! Well spotted.
but that's kind of confusing. Okay, so we can do something similar to. Did it say here? Should have valid father name. Let me see. Father name. What next?
You should really write your specs first.
So I do. There's my schema. So I can look them up here, it's easier. Father is not. So for Boolean as well, I can have validate present, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I have them here. Yeah, validate present of name for the others. Okay. Because I also took this from. This is. This is address, 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 address. I'll leave it for later. Okay. What is the format code? Okay.
I would comment all those out. See your tests failing.
Oops. So I have father name. Father is not. Date of birth. Mother arrives. Gender. So for something like gender, for example, I have, okay, let's see how I did it earlier. Like it's only two values. So
Yep.
so in the model I said validate gender inclusion in this array, but in the specs, where's my orphan specs, sponsor specs? No. Let's be validation. Oh, I do not test this. Maybe I should
This is a conversation for another time, but just while I've seen that, we probably want to do tests for male and female written in different cases, and then on the before save, turn the string into proper case.
Okay, well, actually, for the time, I mean, the way these values get populated is not by a user entering text.
Oh, okay.
It's a drop-down box for now. So contact number.
Nearly there.
minor sibling count.
So do we want to run our spec?
Yeah, but there is minor sibling count and sponsored minor. Oh, this is not mandatory. Okay, so good. So how can I run that particular spec file on its own? Do I give a file name?
Yeah, spec models. Yeah.
Okay. Failed 9.
Okay.
But we have. Okay. So should I take all of them or just one by
Yeah,
one?
go for it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, exactly 9. Just one failure. Minor sibling count. Expected when error got 0 errors. Okay, so this is a number. This is an integer. So how do
It's
I?
one siblings and one sibling.
Okay, spelling. Siblings. This is siblings. Yes. Right.
Hey, well done.
Okay, now things, for example, to validate that this is an integer, or that, for example, mother alive is a boolean, also
Yep.
should go here, right?
Well, you could have a context for each field that you wanted to do additional tests on, or you could just add them as additional tests. What's your preference?
What do you mean by context?
Well, in our spec, you can do context. It's a synonym for it. So you would say context, and then in your quotes you would say such and such a field should be an integer do end, and then within that block you would have your it tests nested within that block.
I can have multiple it tests.
Yes. So the context is just a way of
Yeah.
organizing multiple tests around one subject. It's not necessary. It's not. I mean, or you could just have them as one long tests. I mean, if you word them clearly enough, it just depends on preference. Sometimes it feels right. Sometimes having them like this is. So, for example, you could put these all in a context that said,
should have mandatory fields.
Yeah.
For example. Okay, and then have another one.
I mean, you don't need to. But then what you can do is, your befores can go in a context.
Okay.
Before, so whereas at the moment your before
It's for all.
is for all of the tests and any tests that you write afterwards. So there's no hard and fast rule. It's just whatever feels right for this model. And I think at the moment it doesn't matter either way.
But regardless, they have to be two different tests, like one for the existence of that field and one for the format or the data type.
I would, yeah.
So for example, to make, I mean, this is supposed to be Boolean, so I can have.
So if you copy that and
I can have, it should
should
have
be
a value for this one, and it should have a valid Boolean for
Yeah.
it. So here, for example, I can say something like orphan, what is it called? Father is martyr.
Yeah, father is martyr. You need a colon. Yep.
Martyr equals, for example, false. Or is that Boolean? No.
Not if what fields up? Yeah.
This is Boolean.
Okay. Yes, but it's not false and true, is it? That your male and is it yes and no, or is it just true and false?
I mean, if I put it in the migration as just Boolean, what would that mean?
I think that's just true and false.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just that I was thinking of your male and female ones. I'm sorry, I'm confusing the situation. So it's just, yeah, dummy value, now that should be invalid. So that test,
That
again,
will fail now. The
it
test will
should
fail.
fail.
Then if I fix it by adding, why didn't it fail?
Let's have a look. Maybe it's because it's a Boolean.
Oh, so if it exists, then I see. Make it nil. Well, it was nil originally, so we tested for nil.
Well, make it true.
But now it should
be valid. And then delete
that
that line.
does not require.
No. It's going to fail too because, yeah. Go back to RSpec. I would say expect. Can you copy the expect orphan to have one error on father is martyr? And then replace that line, yes? Yep, so put it there, and then delete your middle line. And then I would say expect orphan to have 0 errors on.
Like this?
Yeah, you may want to pluralize error. Doesn't make any difference, it just makes it easier to read.
Okay, so now it's fine.
And then you may want to do that with false.
Another test case.
Yeah.
So here that should be. Like, am I testing for both cases? Like.
Well, it's up to you. I mean,
No, I was thinking like if it is not a Boolean, then it should reject it or make it invalid.
Yeah, so I mean, you can go back to your, you know how you said equals true, and originally you had a quote that said dummy value, and then just check that fails. Expect it to be invalid.
Yeah, we did that, but then.
Well, we did it for nil, didn't we? We did it for the presence of. We've not done it for a value that is incorrect.
I did not get you. So now this is for the presence.
Yep.
This is a string now.
Yep.
But it also should have one
error. Yep, and it should be invalid.
And it should be invalid as well. But that did not work last time. Because I'm not sure, but I think like as long as this value is not nil, Ruby will consider it as a true. Anything other than
try it and see what.
Yeah, it's best. So like if we do just something so stupid. This, what would this print? So this is false. So anything that's not true is false. So basically, okay. So that means maybe we should not test for this, for booleans. Like if they have the value true, then they are true. If they have any other value that's not nil, that will be false. So we're guaranteed to
Well,
have.
it's not false, is it? I mean, so do you, where's the true test gone?
I took it off. I just replaced it, but I can do this.
Oh, okay. I think if you set it to true, then delete that middle line.
Yes.
And then set to have 0 errors. And then repeat the same for the false. Both the true and the false will pass, but the dummy value, because it's not true or false.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It is true. I mean, it is false. Even if it's a string, I think internally.
Well, it's not false. That's what I'm saying. If you repeat the true test with false, if dummy value equates to false, then it can't be invalid and valid, if you see what I mean.
Okay, so this is false, should have 0 errors, right?
Yes,
This
and
is
that
true, should have, okay, should allow true value for, okay. So this is false. Oops. And
so if you see, you know where dummy value, where you had dummy value, you put dummy value equals true, and you got false. I bet you if you put dummy value equals false above that line, I bet you still get false.
Oh, I see. So I got false as well. So this should allow false. So this failed now. So line 35, 57, yeah. To have 0 errors.
I don't know why that is. Is false like nil? Does your validate presence have to? Let me just do a Google.
Oh, so you're saying that if it is false, then it will take it out, or
yeah, apparently false invalidates the boolean. So
interesting. So basically, any other value other than nil will be mapped to true or false, regardless. So we can never have something that's not true or false.
hang on, I'm just having a look at. So I think you've got to do your validates field as you did before, and then have your in true false. Pretty much as you did with your male and female.
Yep, that was here. Let me just look it up. Now to our phone should have a value, should allow false value.
So I'm just posting something in the group, but they're saying
on the chat.
Yeah, validates inclusion of, and then the field.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
But now I have to. Let me take this out. So this should be invalid. This should be valid. This should be valid.
Yeah.
So why even would allow false value for what is it saying? Expected 0 errors, got 1. This has got 2 errors.
Let's have a look at the at your model.
The model in the migration, you mean?
No, sorry, the model itself. Your validates logic in your model.
Presence is true.
Just take the presence out.
Okay, so which one was fixed by this? Valid Boolean. So false now is allowed. Valid.
Let's have a look at line 26 of the spec.
Oops. 26. This is 26. Should have one error. It says got 0 errors. Although this is not in the allowed values. Got 0. This is false. So I think what's happening is that it's treating this as false since it's not the literal true. Anything other than that is false, except for nil, which is yeah, nil is false as well. So anything but the literal true is false. So in this case, it does not see why this should be invalid. But then again, with the inclusion, it should see that.
No, that should work. This is, I'm just going to post. This is from the Rails validations.
Have a link.
Yeah, let me post the link in.
Oh.
So there's the link. If you go to there and search for Boolean.
Is for present is false. Okay. Should also have exclusion.
Oh, have we got inclusion?
Yes, but what does exclusion mean? You have to by the absence of has one. By the absence of a boolean, you should use validates. Yeah, this is if you want to validate the absence. But in this case, I want to validate the presence.
Oh, sorry.
Validates with name inclusion in true false. False, not blank, is true. So, this is strange. One and zero. I'm not sure. I had an idea earlier to make those as like string fields, like gender, for example, male, female. So have something like martyr, not martyr, and maybe later we'll have unknown,
Yeah.
or not applicable, or undisclosed. So maybe, but again, we'll face the same issue in like is mother alive? That's another Boolean. There is another one that's sponsored by another organization. That's a Boolean. So I don't know, should we treat all Booleans or as strings that we define somewhere, apply to all of them?
Well, are you the customer for OSRA?
I'm working closely with the customer. Myself, I'm not a customer.
Okay, so well, I mean, either you're representing the customer or we ask the customer, I guess. I mean, we either remove the spec and because what it's basically doing is it's treating that as true, isn't it?
Yeah, if a value is present,
it's true.
It's false. I think it's false. If a value is present, from when I put the put s, I understood that if a value is present, that's false, unless that value is the actual literal true, or maybe the string yes or string true or something.
My gut feel tells me if it's a string value, it's true, and if it's nil, it's false.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't surprise me if I was wrong either. I don't know whether it's important. I mean, if you don't think it's important, we could remove the test. If you think it's important, then we probably need to keep the test in and think about how we're going to deal with it.
I think logically it might not be important in the model validation itself, but later, for example, because some of the business logic will depend on these values. So, for example, if mother is alive, maybe there is a different calculation or a branch in the logic to do something, and that we can test with other in other specs.
Yeah.
So we can create that object with that value set to true or false, and
yeah, and this is going to be created. You're going to have an Excel file that you import, aren't you?
Yeah.
Or a CSV file.
Yeah.
So I mean that logic. And you said you're not going to have a web front end to create an orphan. It's all going to be done through the CSV.
But edit there will be.
Oh, okay.
Or update. So after I import, for example, you can imagine a case where, for example, an orphan's mother is alive. So now it's alive is true. Then later down the road, something happened and
you need to change that value.
Got deceased, so yeah, so somebody need to come and change that. But again, we can also do it in a drop-down manner where they're limited to the values they can have there.
But it's kind of an edge case, isn't it? I guess maybe it's too early in the day to say how much of a problem it's going to be, and it's not. If you wanted to remove that test and it becomes a problem in the future, then it could be fixed with a refactoring
at that time.
Anyway, so I can't tell you what I think is the correct way. I'm sitting on the fence, I guess
Mhm.
is what I'm trying to
No,
say.
I see your point. Okay, I mean, personally, myself, like, I had some situations like this before, and almost always the decision was, let's get this working first.
Yep, cool.
For the time being, get it, make it, I mean, logically what needs to be done. And
Yep.
then later, if we face an issue where we identify that this is required, then of course we can do it later. So I can continue just to validate the existence for now, the
Yeah,
presence.
I think, yeah, and just remove the dummy value test. No, I would keep that,
Okay.
and I would just remove that whole test.
So keeping it as allow true and allow false, that
Yeah.
makes sense. And what about nil? Oh, okay. So we said nil will be treated as false anyways, and then later we'll find out if that causes any issues in other tests.
Yeah.
Okay. So similarly, maybe we will have for mother alive. Or sponsored by another organization. Yeah, I need to add those tests for guys. Mother. Okay. Yeah, this one. Okay. So we have false and true tests for all the three Boolean attributes we have. Okay. So maybe we need to add also, like, this is an integer. Test that says this is an integer. A test that says this is a date. What is a date? Yeah, this is a
So
date, date of birth.
so if you look back at the active record validation page we've just been,
This one? Oh, okay.
and if
Yeah.
you go to section 2.8 numericality,
Mm-hmm.
you've got validate numericality only integer true.
Mm. Okay.
So it's just numericality. and then a nested map.
And
sorry, the line below. You want integers, don't you?
okay, only integer. Yes, yes.
Then remove that true and remove your presence. I guess you want presence as well, don't you?
So this is okay. So I need the test for this.
So it should fail with a string, it should fail with a float, and it should pass with an integer.
Okay. Should.
Does that integer need to be a positive value?
Yeah, this is it's basically a count. How many siblings do they have? Or minor siblings, yeah. It can be 0 or more integers. So this is where this presence should allow. You mean like this, like test one that does not allow float?
Yeah.
Okay. So this makes sense.
So now do one called it should not allow negative numbers.
Yeah.
And we should see that fail. -1. And then if you look in,
so I have two failing. Should not allow. Okay, it's getting 2 errors instead of 1. Why is that? Okay. Orphan should not allow a negative number as minor sibling counts. Okay, so that is an integer. Only integers.
yeah, and then if you look at my chat, yeah, greater than or equal to.
Okay, I see. This is in the map itself, or?
Yeah, I think so. It looks.
Okay, yes. So now Orphans are valid minor siblings count. This is 7, 8.
That's got more than one error on, hasn't it? Because it's nil and it's not a number.
So can I say?
I think there's a syntax to say more than.
To have Okay. Source spec.
Yeah, you can say should have at least one.
So expect Orphan to have
yeah, underscore have at the end of have underscore at underscore least. Yeah.
one error.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, now dates. Validation.
Try time and see if the date and time fields are. No, it's not much help either.
Can have a custom validation is like I have something similar here. I say validate date not in future. But I never validated that it's actually a date.
Yeah, it's going to be a custom validation, isn't it?
Okay, maybe. Now if I defined it as a date in the schema itself, like in the migration it is a date, and then on the form a user enters something that's not a date, would that be invalid? I mean, implicitly?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, if I'm using date fields, I tend to use a text field with a delimiter and then use jQuery to put a calendar pop-up over it.
I do something similar. Like, let me show you how the date fields are.
I used to do drop-down boxes like the old-fashioned Rails used to do, where you had a day field and but that's kind of.
Yeah, no, I created like a new partner. So this is partnership start date. It's
Yeah.
so
So
from the
really,
UI, yeah, I think there is no way they can change. They can add.
so that field that comes in, that can be passed into a date by Ruby's date method.
Yes.
So then I think you just check that it's a valid date. Let me see.
There is a gem for this one.
Chronic is.
It's called validates timeliness. I'm sure there are others.
Okay, so if you go to the section 6.2 of the Rails validation thing we've been looking at, custom methods. They talk about dates in there.
Yeah, I did something like this for one of the date fields in one of the other models, but the difference is that I put it in a helper class, not in the same model itself, so I can reuse it. So I assume I can do something similar that just first validates that it is a date. I'm sure that could not be very difficult. And then if there is a validation on the date itself, like for example, I had one case where a certain date cannot be in the past. So that's another set of validations, yeah. So where is my lib? Date not date. Oh, what should I call it? Okay,
What are you checking for?
I will give it an attribute, and it will just tell me is it a date or not, like it's a valid date option.
Okay.
So, what do you think a good name would be? Validate.
Validate date.
Yeah.
Or valid date question mark.
Okay.
Or date question mark.
So.
And then you need a param into it, do you?
No.
No.
Because I mean I'm just doing it the same way this was done. So let me show you the model. So here I can say validate. Okay, I see. Okay, yeah, I need a param. If I need a param, I need to do it differently. So, yeah, because this is usually given the object. This. Yeah, so this validation would be like validate father death or father date of death, for example.
But unless you're putting a param in, there's no point in making it a module because it's...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking to change that even, like now, see, like based on the object type,
yeah.
idea. Yeah. I see. Okay. Okay, let me see maybe. So even the way they did it does not take a param. It will just.
No, it's just a validation on the model, isn't it? And then the method that's called actually tests the field.
So maybe we can have. I can have one method that includes this test and maybe other tests as well later.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so date orphan. Yeah.
I would have a field. So what field do you want to test?
Also for each. So now, for example, I want father date of death is a date.
So I would say I would call them. That's what I would call the method. Father's date. Father's date of death is a date.
Like this.
Yep.
Okay. Now in Ruby, how do I check? Is a kind of. Is a date. Something like this. And then I would say validate.
Father date of death is date. Yep. And then that test it needs to be an if statement.
It won't return true or false, or.
Oh, okay. Yep. No, you could. Yep.
But
But you
maybe.
probably want an errors add, don't you?
Yes, makes sense. If
You don't need a then.
only if it's on the same line, then I need it.
I
If
don't.
this is a date, so I will say
Errors.add. Open brackets, and then the symbol of the field. So father date of death, and then the error. Father should be a date.
I don't have to invalidate the object because the presence of an error is enough, right?
I believe so. Yeah. We'll find out when we run our spec.
Okay. So validate. Okay. So where is my date field? Date of this. Yeah. Should have a valid date value. This should be have at least.
Father date of death, wasn't it?
4, 3. Got 0.
Let's have a look at the spec again.
Should have 2. So invalid is that was expected to be invalid. It is invalid, but it's how come?
Let's have a look at the spec again. The model. Because it's the wrong, unless it needs to be unless father date is a date.
Okay, I see. It's the other way around.
And then we need to confirm that by putting the date in.
Should have a date. No, this should allow.
But we want to copy that because we want to keep this.
This is a mouthful. This should allow a date value.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
So what is it? If there is date today or something?
Yeah.
Do I need these?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Be valid to have 0 error.
No, it's not. You need to remove the middle line because.
Yeah, it's not valid anyways. Yeah. Yes.
And then, do we want to try one with a string value?
Nice. A date with a string, or
Yeah, like 2013 hyphen.
Should allow a valid string. So it is any format I want, like day, month.
Well, the format that you're using on the web interface, I think you were using for YYYY MMDD, weren't you?
Yes, but
Yeah.
that came with the date picker. But yeah, I can use this. So.
Way.
Okay, great. Okay, made good progress. Okay, I think I have to leave now.
No, that's okay. Is there any chance that you can push that?
Yeah, definitely I'll do that. I'll just make sure that. But I'll push it to my local. I'll not not create a pull request just yet, right?
Yeah, if you push it to your local, I don't have much experience on a Git Pong, so all I want to do is just check I can pull it from your local down to me. That's.
origin, orphan model, orphan model. Is that correct? This is my OSRA. Yeah, I have my orphan model, and I can see, yeah, I can see this commit. Yeah. So do you want to pull it now?
I'm just trying. Okay, so right. I think I've pulled it. Test, prepare. So that's 54 examples, 3 pending. Is that what you're getting?
Let me do the whole thing. Yeah, 54, 3 pending, yes.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for the pair. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you. You helped a lot. Okay, so thanks, and
See you on the forum.
Yeah, see you later. Bye.
Bye.